We're going to have a complete student-run broadcast. So that'll be really interesting, tying together the student piece of it and the broadcast clubs with the Esports Tournament as well. Hi, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's jumping on.
Jeffrey Colon is the keynote speaker at the StreamGeeks Summit, so we're so happy to see him in the chat on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Jeffrey's book, Disruptive Marketing, is really kind of a cornerstone of what live streaming industry really has become. We have from political leaders being able to skip the media and go direct to audiences on Facebook and all the different platforms, to businesses who are now able to get directly to their customers and prospects, and kind of skipping a lot of the traditional advertising methods. And we're going to talk about all kinds of different things culminating together to make live streaming so important and powerful.
That's right. And we are live now on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube as well. So welcome if you're hopping on those platforms. We are StreamGeeks.
So we're going to announce the panelists today, and each panel, which has been kind of shared on our Facebook a little bit, but we wanted to formally share each one of the panels.
Definitely worth giving a share because we've got an exciting lineup.
Then we'll head over to our studio, and we will show you guys the 3D layout of the summit space and all of the technology that we have planned for showing off on this full day of education in New York City. So the first panel is on Facebook Live.
Yes, we've got some really interesting things lined up for that discussion regarding why businesses are streaming to Facebook, and some experienced Facebook live streamers themselves sharing their knowledge with us.
Yeah, we have two influencers joining us, Ariel Vieira and Mickey Blank, and both of them have tens of thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers on Facebook. And I have to say, after meeting with all of the panelists on the Facebook side, it really seems to be the one that generates the most excitement.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a really valuable one for those streamers in the audience, getting those tips and tricks for how to optimize that platform.
I think this will be one where we'll kick it off with a 10,000-foot view of what Facebook has done and how it's kind of changed the game over the past 2-3 years that it's been out. But I also think that businesses will start to think more about what are influencers doing and how are they having so much success on social media, and how can we, approach that from a business standpoint. We've surveyed a lot of the folks coming to the summit, and we've noticed that many of them are in the advertising and marketing world, and then maybe the other handful of larger percentage is those who are helping their clients live stream as well. Yes. And I think a lot of those folks are definitely using Facebook Live.
Absolutely.
Including Aubrey from LiveX. And Aubrey actually live streams the world's most popular live stream every year in New York City, the Times Square's Ball Drop, on New Year's Eve every year. And she has some amazing stories to tell about why they choose Facebook, why her clients are continuing to sometimes even exclusively stream directly to Facebook.
Yes, and adding to that, we also are going to have Claudia, Barbiero of LiveView, Mobile Streaming Solutions, and Eddie Vega of AMP Live.
So we don't want to give away everything, but this will all be live streamed for free on social media, so don't worry, you'll be able to see everything next week. But we want to talk a little bit about the business opportunities and the future of the medium in our 10 a.m. panel.
Yeah, and you're going to join that one.
Yeah, I'm going to join that one with Phil Kluba, Cliff Sobel, Ryan Brenneman, and Cliff Sobel has actually invited one of his customers to come on who has had so much success with live streaming. They are in the National Lacrosse Leagues, and they're going to talk a little bit about how they're using live streaming for brand building, but also shortening the sales cycle in general, how they're getting in front of their customers more often, answering their questions more quickly, and We're also going to talk a little bit about LinkedIn and the new B2B platform. We're actually live on LinkedIn right now and talk about how that changes the game when it comes to, CEO thought leadership, fireside chats, and then all the way to, personal and business pages and the right ways to connect on those mediums to leverage LinkedIn Live.
Yeah, following that panel, that will begin the Esports Tournament. And in collaboration with that, we are, of course, having an Esports Panel.
Yes, so probably one of the most exciting panels will be the Esports Panel. In the backdrop of the Esports Panel, we will have an Esports Tournament going on. And wow, there's a lot of audio visuals involved in esports and capturing all of the game captures, capturing the webcams from each one of the video gamers, capturing the audio, capturing the Observer PC. I didn't even know what that was until a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
The Observer PC is the computer that runs the computer game but can actually view the video game from the view of any of the players.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's what they do in a lot of these large esports tournaments, is that the announcers, and we'll have play-by-play announcers from Hofstra University joining us, and they allow kind of the audience to jump around and see what each player is doing from their viewpoint.
Awesome. That's going to be a lot of fun. And for the Esports Panelists, we have Claudia of LiveView. She's going to be moderating. We have Dan Pizarski, who's also with LiveView, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Ryan Fourquart. And you had to remind me.
Ryan is from Go Lightstream.
That's right. Ryan Fourquart from Go Lightstream. Emil Bodenstein, who is an e-gamer.
Yes.
So that'll be fun to have. And then Felipe Laurent of Go Easy Live.
That'll be moderated by Claudia. We'll be talking about Twitch. I actually met many of these people at TwitchCon in San Diego. We'll be talking about, Mixer, scholarships, making money, what professional esports will become. The backpack and accidentally disconnected a cable. I apologize.
Classic.
Always happens, but luckily we know what we're doing.
And we're in the studio.
So,
apologies for that.
Sorry about that.
Danger. Don't grab the backpack while using it, because something could come undone.
I apologize. So, the next panel at 1 p.m., ta-da, we're in our studio, thank goodness, will be live streaming marketing and monetization, and that will be at 1 p.m.
Oh, that one we were really excited for after our meetings. Things were looking really good. Chris Nito of Starin is going to moderate that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Jake Brandsburg.
Yeah, Jake from YouNow has some really interesting perspectives on user-generated revenue. They're actually using cryptocurrency to do these microtransactions for paying users for the ad, revenue that's being generated by the platform. So it's a really interesting new way to look at the relationships between the content creators and the platforms.
Yeah, then we have John Mahoney of Neural Network and Streaming Alchemy, who uses streaming for marketing purposes, just like PTZ Optics and StreamGeeks does. So really cool to have him. We have Rudy Ellis, and Rudy is from Switchboard.
Yes, Rudy is from Switchboard Live.
Okay, who am I missing here?
And Aaron Nagler, who is from Cheesehead TV, but also Live X.
Oh, that's right.
Remember?
Yeah, that's awesome. Are you okay? Do you need a drink of water?
Yeah,
is this your water?
Something stuck in my throat a little bit. Sorry.
Okay, I was worried about you. Moving forward here, we have to conclude the main panelist sessions. We have Tech game changers. So we're going to be diving into how technology is being affected by live streaming and the audio-visual elements of that. So that's going to be moderated by Gary Beaton of Broadfield. We're going to have our own Matthew Davis, our lead engineer at PTZ Optics. We're going to have Matt Allard of New Tech, Daryl Spangler of Mobile Video Devices, and the new company StreamGear. Is it Streaming Gear or StreamGear? I don't want to mess him up. Okay, StreamGear. And Michael Lisi of Wolf Vision.
All right. So in that panel, it's obviously the tech game changers. We'll be talking about how the widespread adoption of AV over IP will affect streaming. Sorry, I'll get through this.
That's happened to me before while we were live. Like a tickle in your throat and
yes,
you cannot do anything about it. It's the worst.
Streaming different types of content and how 5G will affect the industry. How esports being so large will change the industry. And then how we can make streaming content easier. So I know it's a little daunting sometimes to look into all of this. And then finally, Jeffrey Colon will finish with our keynote, and then we'll have an hour for networking before happy hour.
Yes.
Now, while this is all happening, there will be a workshop area and a press room in action. So a lot of members of the press will have their own room to congregate and, do quotes and press releases. And then on the other side, we'll have live workshops for those folks who want to get a little bit more hands-on with gear and technology. Okay. Now, I wanted to show you guys a little preview of this. So I wanted to show the 3D drawing here. So this is the Dream Downtown. And as you can see, we have a 20 by 8 foot stage in the front with 4 chairs for each one of our panelists and a projector in the background. So we'll have presentations and different things, ability to show. We'll have a person running the projector. But to the right and left, you can see that we have the Esports Tournament going on. And that, I think, is going to be one of the most kind of fun things going on, is that if you're interested in esports, if you've never seen what esports is and what it's like, this will be a good chance to kind of see really a full live streaming esports tournament in action.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
So, man, I can't believe I pulled the cable out of the live view.
Well, Jeremy Klusterman from Telestream and representing Wirecast is in the chat, and he says, nice that we had the failover into the studio. So
yeah, well, it is all about backups, and we're going to have multiple backups at the summit too, by the way. So if anything goes wrong, we've got 3 backups. So that's always important to have a backup. Now, over here is where our Wirecast gear is going to be located. And I wanted to show, actually, the audio side of things because it's a little complicated.
A little.
I think it's worth going over.
You've certainly never done anything like this before.
This is probably the biggest stream we've ever done. I'll admit it. So I want to show this really quickly. I know we've looked at it before on our last show, but I just wanted to quickly show this. So we've got 2 different streaming main streams. So we've got our TriCaster TC1 with 3 cameras, and then we have our Wirecast gear with another 3 cameras. But each of those systems, because they're connected on a local area network, can all be controlled over that local area network. So that really helps. Now, here's the esports streaming area. You can notice I added all the webcams. Mm-hmm. And then everyone's also going to have an esports headset. Mm-hmm. So the way esports is generally used, each team can kind of communicate. So if it's 3-on-3, 3 of the players can hear all 3 of each other, and then the other 3 can hear them, but they can't hear, obviously, the opponent's team.
Okay,
right?
So they can strategize.
Yes. Now, here's that Observer PC I talked about. And so the Observer PC allows for us to capture what's going on and hop between the different players' views throughout the production. And there'll also be 2 microphones for the play-by-play. Now, in the house audio setup, and what that means really is the entire production itself. On stage, we've got 6 wireless microphones coming into an audio mixer. That audio mixer sends an output to the TriCaster, and it also sends an output to our secondary esports streaming system. And then there's a little laptop over here. I forgot to tell you this, Tess. That just is to play music. So we'll have music playing on one of the channels.
Okay.
And so like when someone comes off the stage, turn the music up, turn it back down.
We haven't discussed music yet.
No, but
we're gonna have to get some copyright safe music.
Yes, exactly, because we will be streaming.
That'll be an interesting feat.
Now, on the esports side, we have 2 play-by-play announcers. Those will be students who are broadcasting the event, but we'll also have a microphone for each team. So independent of their esports headsets, we'll also have microphones for them to pick them up. Now, this system will also take an output from the main system so that if we want to, we can share what's going on in the panel as far as audio. This system probably needs to be tweaked the most. So Melissa, our audio engineer, is going to kind of have some headphones, making sure the mix is playing the right thing. But as I mentioned, the esports teams will all have something called TeamSpeak, which is a local area network setup so that they can all communicate.
I'm learning a lot already.
Now, on the mainstream, we're just going to have the TriCaster producing the mainstream, but we can also switch to a mobile backpack. And so we can put that on and show the audience kind of what's going on during the networking hour, at lunchtime, in between, stage options.
Excellent.
Now, for our esports stream, one of the things we decided to do is we're going to have an OBS machine that's really just focused on the esports. And then the students running the Wirecast stream are just going to be focused on the camera views for the esports. So that way they can be mixed together using the new tech NDI, and using our roll-in switcher, we can actually switch between which ones are being sent to Twitch. And then finally, this is the big boring page, but it's actually really important. Whenever you're doing an IP video production setup, you want to make sure that every device has an IP address and everyone, so that you can hand this paper to everyone who's in the production and say, hey, here's all the IP addresses you're going to need, because when you're controlling remotely controlled PTZ cameras over your local area network, you want to be able to type the IP address into your software to establish that control connection.
Quite convenient.
And you can see all of the esports computers are all managed over DHCP. And that's it. There's the student-run broadcast area over there, and that's where the play-by-play is happening and the step and repeat. And that pretty much gives you a good idea of how we're managing the audio and video for our streaming setup.
Jeremy on LinkedIn says, Paul, we should chat after this. He has a few ideas and solutions for audio for the streaming rigs.
Good idea. Thank you very much, Jeremy. On the Wirecast gear side, I noticed that it has 2 XLR audio inputs, and I have an audio mixer that I was planning on using as well. And I'm just going through, I have all of it set up for testing today. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So I'll give you a call right after this webinar.
And remember, guys, we do have just about 10 tickets left for in-person attendees. So if you want to grab those or sign up for the virtual feed, it's streamgeeks.us/summit to do that.
All right. Well, that's it. We got to get back to work. We have a full day of live streaming up ahead, and a full